Okay. Now, guys, I really want to emphasize something with this next part. Please bear with us because we should have had Georgie here for this conversation. And there was weeks of preparation before getting here. And when Georgie Georgie has, and we'll explain a lot more. I'm going to read a full bio for Georgie out because I've got a full bio, and that's why I want everyone to understand who Georgie is. But Georgie has severe Tourette's, and unfortunately, that both physically and verbally, so it's a constant tick. So it's constant. Now, through that, has actually slipped a disc in her back in the build-up to this event. So unfortunately, we got the message yesterday or the day before that unfortunately, however much she wants to be here, she can't be here. So Courtney and I have been back and forth, and Georgie. We just wanted to make sure Georgie's happy in terms of what we do. We had this slot for Georgie, and Georgie was going to come on live for half an hour because no one would ever let her would never even invite her to come have a live conversation on.
We'd be looking forward to it.
Like buzzing.
I think
really excited. Like, honestly, such an amazing personality, such an amazing individual.
I think the highlight of last year's speakerphone was Courtney.
100%.
Talking about Georgie, everyone would say that. So.
Yeah. So I'm going to invite Courtney up first. I want to give Courtney some love to bring her back up here in the comments as well, please, because this is really brave what she's doing. To come and talk about how she met Georgie and how this has come about. And then bear with me because I'm going to try and read, which I struggle with when I'm not 23 hours. I don't know how long. I didn't even sleep yesterday, so I've been asleep for a long time. But bear with, please. Hold some support for us. Hold a safe space for us to share that. And so Courtney, bringing you up on now. Hi, Courtney.
There she is.
Have you been up all day, Courtney, as well? Because every time I looked at the chat, Courtney's been
She
chatting.
went to sleep. She went to sleep at like about 1, 2 o'clock. She was like, "I'm going to sleep," and an hour later, she was like, "I'm back."
Can't sleep. So good.
Thank you for coming back, Courtney.
Thank you so much for doing this.
So can you? So I've got to go. I've got to download. So breathe. Take your time. I want people to understand the full context of this story. I've got to.
I really wish she was doing it.
It's okay. It's okay.
But we're going to tell Courtney. It's absolutely fine because we're going to tell her story.
Just take your time. There's no pressure here. Let's just chill. We're chilled. Just chill. I will get the picture ready, so we can share a picture of the three of us in preparation for this. Whilst I prepare the bio, if you can take the mic for a moment to just share how you got to know Georgie and why she's such an amazing inspiration to you, then I will come in and take the second round for you. All right? And I won't put any comments on screen until we finish talking because I know how much you love them. And then we get distracted by interacting.
It's only been Courtney that's typing comments all day anyway, isn't it? So if she's talking, you can't do both.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm trying to stay in the toilet.
Yeah, turn it off.
I met Georgie back in 2014, and when I was volunteering at a Tourette vaccine, which is the UK's largest organisation in the UK for families affected by Tourette syndrome. And long story short, because of the severity of Georgie's Tourette, I was uncomfortable around her, and I found it hard to be around her, and so I didn't. But it was a week later, she added me on TikTok. and that kind of how we started this incredible friendship. Yeah,
It's amazing, and I think what you shared there is something really that we can learn from. Before we get a buyer up, I would like to talk about this. You said openly that you saw Georgie in that situation, and you avoided her.
I tried not to because like I knew she couldn't help it. But I think that's why I always say it's okay to stay stable, and but it's how you cope with that fear. And are you willing to think about it and learn about it? I think that's what Georgie was, and again, I hate talking about her when she's not here.
No, but she is here because she knows you're here talking about her because we asked her for her permission, and that was a really important part of the process for us, wasn't it?
And then she will be able to see it either now or when she's better to look at the video back, and how much you can show how much she means to you and how much she means to us, and us wanting to talk about her and her story.
I don't know why it's so hard.
Because you care about her. And you said you wish she was here. That shows what a great friend you are. And what a kind person you are.
Yeah.
Sending hugs. Sending hugs.
Okay.
Okay. Are you happy that I read the bio out for Georgie?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna turn because I will put my back out whilst doing this. So, excuse my.
It does look like
It's like a chain.
It does look like I'm cuddling.
We all need a hug anyway, so let's all just hug in.
It's got to that stage now.
Give it a bit. You could get it. You could get pregnant.
It is hard, but it doesn't show you what we saw in that Zoom call with me and that. Okay.
You sure? Wait. What did you say?
So,
It's all right. We can wait. What did you say?
that was just that picture nearly darkly crying.
It was. We had a good time that Zoom call, didn't we? We had fun. When we were together preparing for this, we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got to know each other. It's an important part of the process. Okay. Let me just scroll up and get a bio up. So bear with me, guys. It's a bit long, but she's lived an incredible life. Can I firstly, before I do that, I formulated some questions that I was going to ask Georgie. So we can't answer. We won't have answers for them yet, but we will get some answers for them.
Yeah.
So just a few of these before I read a bio. So some of the questions I was going to ask Georgie was for her to share the different types of episodes that she experiences and how they differ from each other. The relationship between the tics and her compulsive behaviours, such as counting and ordering. I had questions around how her relationships with her partner, friends, personal assistants, neighbours helped in the journey, because she has to have a lot of people around her to look after her. We talked about her I wanted to know more about her background in education and her work experience, because she's done so much work in that space.
Yeah, she's remarkable. And I think the one thing that Georgie never wanted to be was an inspiration porn, aka an inspiration because she got Tourette, and Georgie isn't. Georgie's an inspiration because of how she makes you feel okay. I mean, I don't know how you would explain it.
Well, you explained it
Yeah, perfect.
like bang on. Like, yeah, that's the beauty of you, Courtney. Your words are the way that you articulate yourself is phenomenal. By the way, I don't know many people that explain things better than you,
I agree with that.
especially when it comes to inclusivity. Honestly,
you.
I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. You know me. You know me well enough now. I'm very direct. And the other question I wanted to ask. Sorry. So the only other question I wanted to ask, I've got many, because I was very curious. But one of the other questions I had was how Georgie's interests, such as snooker, roller derby, street art, she's very obsessed with street art, helped cope with the challenges of living with Tourette's. Okay, I'm going to put a picture up. I'm going to put a picture up now, okay? And I'm going to read this bio out, okay? Okay. Let's be strong together, yeah, Courtney? Okay, cool. So, first I'm actually going to read the intro she sent me, because she said, here's a bit about myself that you might wish to use parts of as an intro, but also some might be useful for background info. I'm aware of time constraints, and I'm also conscious of it making sense. OCD is probably partly why I struggle to be concise. It then leads to quite a lengthy intro. So, hi, I'm Georgie. I'm 44, queer, neurodivergent, and I grew up in rugby. Although my favourite sport is watching snooker, not so much rugby these days, I used to watch snooker live frequently, when I could be quiet and still. Now I stick to going to watch roller derby, cricket and ice hockey. I love street art and graffiti spotting, and I take far too many photos of these expeditions. I have an unhealthy level of interest in politics, which is not good for anyone's mental health. I love going to gigs. When I was younger, I traveled all over the world, and I'm very interested in learning about different cultures and new experiences. I also love Lego, sensory lights, and red phone boxes. I left at 18 to study social policy in Leeds, and then moved to Manchester to study a combined course in generic social work and learning disability nursing. I love Manchester so much. I remained here ever since. From age 16 up until I was unable to continue working on medical grounds, I worked in health and social care jobs, including nursing, social work, and advocacy. I also learned British Sign Language and used in different jobs. My late mum had MS and died from multiple cancers. So I've experienced the health and social care systems from the perspective as a carer, as a worker, and a service user. Not the latter, not something I or others anticipated. I started experiencing tics at age 23. Then I didn't know what these weird occasional movements were tics. I didn't know that involuntary whispering were tics. Doctors didn't understand and fobbed me off. I didn't know anything. I was scared. It's all good? It's all good. Yep. Over time, the tic severity gradually increased, and episodes of number of tics that were once several months reduced in time to the point where my vocal and motor tics became constant. I used to be able to suppress tics for several hours so I could hold them in. I still don't know how I did it, and at the time I didn't know how not to. I then ticked them out when I was on my own. Suppression made me feel nauseous, lightheaded, brain fog, drained, and my eyesight would blur. My tics used to be noticeably wax and wane frequently, but it's been several years since a noticeable wane. I communicate with an AAC. Sorry, what? Thank you, Courtney. I'm just reading it as it is. I'm sorry. Don't laugh. I'm doing this, Courtney.
No, it sounded like you said something else. Sorry.
Oh, don't. Come on, Courtney. It's a serious moment now. It's such a pain in my butt. Okay. I have a. When I go out. So sorry. So I communicate with an AAC, augmentative alternative communication device. When on my own at home, I mobilize on my knees and wear thick dressings and BMX knee pads for protection. When I go out, I use a wheelchair and need support to push it due to the lack of control over my body. I have a social care package that I manage myself via direct payments and a lot of support from my partner, friends, personal assistants I employ and neighbours. Some of my tics can be violent. For example, punching walls, lampposts and others, as well as hitting myself. If I see a lit candle, I will put it out with my finger, for instance, or pick up a knife and stick it in a table. I also tick and throw or break things and kick things. I have what I describe as 3 types of episodes: tick attacks, pain attacks, and unresponsive episodes. I was diagnosed with Tourette's at age 31, and soon after with OCD. Sometimes it can be hard or impossible to know what are tics and what are compulsions. I mainly experience intrusive thoughts that are of a violent and sexual nature. Plus, I have other visualizations that I use to count in triangle shapes and patterns until I feel right. It's never a set number. Same with compulsive touching and equalizing. It's how many times until I feel right. Things like CDs aren't in a known order, but where they feel correct to me. I like the number 3 and multiples of 3. Other diagnoses have continued to including pain syndromes, Erlin's syndrome, Tourette's. It isn't only about tics. There are a lot of hidden symptoms, which for me include various types of pain, sensory issues, and anxiety. It's been a steep learning curve, and I'm still learning. Also, a major adjustment, which I've struggled with at times, but I've had a lot of support from others. At first, it just felt like I was constantly losing things in my, e.g., some friends, ability to drive, ability to walk, or leave my flat on my own, losing my job, for instance. I still have wobbly days, as all this does mess with your brain, and most of my life I haven't been disabled. Over time, a lot of time, others, including my mum, who became disabled as an adult, and many in the Tourette's community explained to me and showed me that I could still live a positive life in a different and creative way. That I tried to keep to, as they were all right. It doesn't mean life isn't difficult or feels impossible at times. It just means you have to do what you can, when and how you can. The tics at times can be funny, and whilst it's awful when people laugh at me due to my tics, I really don't mind people laughing with me. Sometimes it's hard not to. I do myself. Some things I can't do anymore, so I've found different things. I don't understand society placing so much value on the importance of being in paid work or in only certain types of jobs. For those who are working and those of us who can't, we all contribute to society in various important ways. I still do, but it was never only about my job. As important as it was to me, in the last 3 years, I've been involved in campaigning in relation to building safety crisis as someone impacted. This continues to be challenging, and 2 years ago, myself and Sarah Rennie, another disabled person, impacted set up GladDag, a group which is campaigns on disabled leaseholder issues in the mess of the building safety crisis, which nobody else was highlighting. There's lots of information here, but hopefully this will help provide an overview, and some might well be answers to some of the questions that you have. Thank you, Courtney, too, for your input.
Incredible.
What an incredible piece of writing as well. She's obviously a very talented writer as well.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Well read, mate, as well.
What an amazing... Was that okay, Courtney? Did I do justice?
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say? Would you add anything to that?
I've known her for 9 years. In that 9 years, I've seen her take that word and to where it is today. So I've been there, both with her and with, and I've seen it at Wings, and which I won't share because it's very personal to her. That if you knew how extreme it got, that in 2013, you would understand just how incredible this one is.
Amazing. Thank you, Courtney. So much for
I'm not-
sharing.
I'm not trying, I just wish you guys at home could meet her.
We're going to meet her. Well, what did we say earlier today? We said we're going to do something together this year. We're going to do something together this year, aren't we? And we had Sarah Ellis on earlier from Tickbox. I reckon she's up for doing something.
Yeah.
We're going to do something together this year.
And next year, there's always next year for this. We're
Absolutely.
coming back every year, aren't you, Alex?
Every year. Every year.
Yeah, I'm just heartbroken to be honest, but like today, how excited Donna you guys were to like hear her story, that brings me hope. I wanted
Hugs, Courtney, hugs. We're all really proud of you.
I work with a lot of families, both with Tourette and other disabilities. I wanted those families to feel represented in Georgie. And that's why the cartoons, because Donna and people wouldn't allow the platform to be as inclusive as you have it, Alex and Liv. And let's go back. The reason why she's not here is the reason why we are talking death case. And that makes sense. Her Tourette is the reason why she's injured and ridiculous.
Well, between you and Alex, you've brought her story to life, and I think we know what an amazing person Georgie is. And we hope she gets better soon. And we want to say thank you so much, Courtney, again. You are incredible.
Can I just add something? And I
course.
want to add something, and then I'm going to drop a link in the chat. So I'm going to do two things at once. Maybe I did three things. No
Say
important.
5 things.
No, three things. Alex, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, are you okay?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Funny. You're so funny.
And
Yes, mate.
hold on a second. Completely thought. Because I'm an idiot. That if you guys wanted to learn more about Tourette, I wanted to shout out this website and through Georgie, no, to Georgie, I met this incredible woman called Jess, and this is her website, and Tourette Hero. So,
Awesome.
yeah, this is what I wanted to ask for people to do in chat.
You want them to learn. You want people to learn about it.
No, can you, everyone in chat, and I want Georgie to do this love. So can everyone please fill the chat with love for
We'll have a chat with
Georgie?
love for Georgie. Yeah,
Because,
absolutely. Please do that.
what she's done through, especially with, like, imagine this, guys. She was working really hard, so she's got to understand that she was typing everything out word by word to talk to you guys, and then this happened. You put his head to it.
Yeah.
How heartbroken she must feel. So I want her to know that we are standing with her and for her. So please, I'm going to make sure she reads and sees the impact that she had. So there's not no impact, this is her impact.
We'll take this. We'll take Courtney. You have my word. We'll take this segment, and I'll make sure lots of people see this. All right? I promise you that.
I know
Right?
don't. And just to the website I've posted, and she also had to like Georgie, and on that blog, tourettehero.com, she talked about her life with Tourette. So, yeah, so that kind of, I'm going to go to the day and I'm going to try. And thank you, Alex, so much for everything. I really wish I could your help right now. And we will. We finally out there with you. Love you, my friend. You did so proud. I'm gonna go.
I think we've all vouch. What an amazing.
This is the impact he has on people's lives.
Absolutely.
And the impact of Courtney. I mean, Courtney was the big story. Courtney and Georgie was the big story last year. And like of all the stories her to get, she's topped it again this year as well.
Absolutely.
So we didn't get to meet Georgie this year, but there'll be another year. And we've all learnt more about Tourette's, haven't we? Because I had no idea that you could catch it or develop it later in life as well. So for all of our struggles, the amazing struggles that Georgie has gone through, nobody who listened to that could doubt that Georgie has an incredible impact on society as well. It's not about just working, is it? All the things she's involved with and all the things, it's amazing.
It is, absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. Actually, just going to have a couple of minutes out. I'll tell you what, let's have a breathe for 2 minutes and we'll come back. We've got an hour's go, so give us a couple of minutes and we'll be back on.
Got to give Alex lots of hugs.
Yeah.